Cade Cunningham is changing his jump shot. Let's get into this. Quickly before we get the video started, if you guys enjoy this video and want to see more NBA content just like this one, hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. Anyways, back to the video. After having a fantastic season in college, Cade Cunningham coming into the NBA was a clear and cut #1 overall pick. And of course in this previous draft, he was drafted with that #1 overall pick to the Detroit Pistons. Coming into this draft and even coming into his first season in the NBA, Cade Cunningham is definitely seen as one of the better #1 overall picks we have had in some time. And for the Pistons, this is definitely one of the best things that could have happened to them, getting the #1 overall pick this year and actually getting Cade Cunningham. For some time now, the Pistons have been a very bad team and they've been a bottom feeder of the league, basically never making the playoffs. And those few seasons back a few years ago when they were making the playoffs with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, they were only making the 8th, maybe 7th seed, and they were basically getting swept in the first round, or maybe getting gentlemen swept in the first round basically every single year. So basically it's been a very long time since the Detroit Pistons have actually been good. And adding a guy like Cade would definitely appear to be a very good thing for this organization going forward. But what makes Cade so great? Why was Cade drafted with the #1 overall pick? Why is he seen to be one of the better #1 overall picks going forward? What does he actually do on the court that makes him so great? Well, the first thing that's very beneficial to Cade is just the fact that he's 6'8" and is a point guard. When you talk about the new age NBA, a lot of teams are going in the direction of taller point guards. You look at a guy like Ben Simmons, although he has been playing well recently, the fact that he's 6'11" and playing point guard is definitely a huge benefit to him going forward. You look at a guy like Luka Doncic, you look at a guy like Kevin Durant. Although Kevin Durant is not a point guard, he does have the ball in his hands a lot of the time and does make some great passes and has a decent playmaking ability. You just look at the new generation of NBA and it appears to me that a lot of NBA teams are going for the taller point guard. Now there's a few different reasons for that, but the main reason why they're going for those taller point guards is they could truly see over the defense and make some passes that maybe shorter point guards wouldn't be able to make. And also just having a taller point guard on your team doesn't always necessarily mean they're going to be a better defender, but if you're 6'8" compared to maybe 6'1" or 6'2" or even 6'3", more likely you're going to be a better defender if you're 6'8" rather than shorter, and you're going to be able to guard a lot more positions. And when you talk about the new age NBA with positionless basketball, switching consistently on the defensive side of the ball, having a taller point guard definitely helps a lot for that. But now looking at the actual skills that Cade possesses, talking about his three-point shooting ability, this is definitely something that he does pretty effectively. He's able to create his own shot from the three-point range in terms of side steps, step backs. In the new age NBA, that's something you need to have as a point guard. He can also cross over into a three-point jump shot, come off a screen and quickly put up a three-point jump shot. Cade is definitely a pretty good three-point shooter. I'm not going to say he's an amazing three-point shooter, but he's definitely a pretty good one. In terms of his catch and shoot three-point ability, playing off ball, he does have the ability to do that from time to time as well. But overall, if I had to categorize Cade's three-point shooting ability, I would probably just say it's very refined. But now talking about Cade's mid-range shooting ability, this is definitely something that's very refined as well. At that 6'8" size and also playing that point guard position, Cade has a unique ability to actually be pretty effective with that post turnaround fadeaway shot, which in a lot of my videos I mentioned is my favorite shot when you're trying to be a more efficient scorer and just put up more points in general. And Cade uses that post turnaround fadeaway shot pretty effectively as well. Sometimes he's going to be guarded by smaller defenders. When he comes to the NBA, teams are probably going to smart up to it and put some shooting guards and also small forwards on him, but there's always going to be from time to time where he's getting guarded by shorter players, and he definitely has the ability to take advantage of that with that post turnaround fadeaway. But also Cade has everything else in his bag in terms of his mid-range shooting as well. He has the ability to hit that pull-up mid-range jump shot, that catch and shoot mid-range jump shot from time to time. He has a very nice floater to his game as well. I also mentioned that in a lot of my videos, but I think basically every single point guard should have that floater within his game, and Cade is no different. He has a pretty effective one, and that basically rounds out his mid-range shooting ability, but obviously very refined as well and similar to his three-point shooting ability. But now talking about Cade's driving and finishing ability, this is also something within his game that is just very refined. He's obviously 6'8" with a crazy long wingspan, and he's also very athletic for his size, and once he gets downhill and gets a full head of steam, he can definitely posterize whatever defender's there. We've seen it countless times in college. But the part that makes him so controlled and the part that makes his driving and finishing ability so refined is the fact that he also has a crazy layup package. He can finish with either hand, he's ambidextrous with his left or right hand, he can hang in the air longer than the defender and outlast him and put up some crafty layups like that. He can go from the left side of of the basket, finish at the right side of the basket. He can do the same thing vice versa. There's so many things getting to the basket that he can do, and really whatever the defender does, it makes it very difficult for them to either block the shot or even get a true contest on it. Cade's just so efficient and effective once he gets to the basket. Now, talking about Cade's passing and playmaking ability, this isn't something that he's known as one of the best passers and playmakers coming out of college, and he's not seen as someone like that coming into the NBA as being one of the better passers in the NBA, but it is definitely something that he has within his game. He has the ability to pass with both hands, either left or right hand. He has the ability to see over the defense, obviously just due to the fact that he's 6'8". He's obviously going to find people in the corner, at the wing, wherever, cutting to the basket. He's going to be a traditional point guard in the sense that he's going to find open teammates. And why that really helps him in general is once he has those games where he completely goes off, he's hitting 3-point shots, he's getting all the way to the basket, he's just scoring at will on whatever defender is guarding him, the opposing team is obviously going to send some doubles, sometimes even triple teams. So the fact that he has somewhat of a passing ability, he has a little bit more than somewhat of a passing ability. He's a pretty good passer, I would say, but the fact that he has that within his game just makes it easier for him and just helps his team win a lot more, because now it can easily kick to whatever teammate's wide open, and more times than not, it is the NBA at this point. They're going to hit that shot more likely than not if they're wide open consistently. And when you just look at his game completely together, you look at his 3-point shooting ability, very refined, mid-range, very refined, driving and finishing ability, very refined, passing ability, definitely above average, a very good passer as well. You just look at every aspect of his offensive game and you really see why this guy was drafted with the #1 overall pick and seen as one of the better #1 overall picks in a little bit of time. But now let's get into the reason why you guys clicked on this video, which is there's been some reports out and some videos out that Cade Cunningham is actually changing his shot. Now, the initial reaction by most NBA fans that have been watching for some time is a negative one. Typically when a player starts to change his jump shot this late within his career, you may say, oh, it's early, he hasn't even played in the NBA yet, but when you consider he's been playing for his entire life and he's basically been using the same jump shot for his entire life, so to start to tinker his jump shot right before he gets in the NBA is pretty late within his career. But typically once you start to tinker with your jump shot that late within your career, it usually turns out to be a negative. The first thing that most NBA fans think when they think of a player that recently changed their jump shot is Markelle Fultz. Now obviously it was a little bit of a different case scenario because Markelle was actually going through a shoulder injury and that was the main reason why he changed his jump shot. But either way, you saw a guy in Markelle in college and high school and throughout his entire career. He was never an amazing 3-point shooter or jump shooter in general, but he always had a pretty nice stroke. He was a good shooter, but then once he came into the NBA, he completely lost all his confidence. At one point, he wasn't even taking any jump shots. Then he started taking jump shots, but he just obviously wasn't hitting them whatsoever. His jump shot form looked terrible, and he just completely lost all his confidence in general. So that's why when a lot of NBA fans see that Cade is actually changing his jump shot slightly before even getting to the NBA, there's some cause for pause and some concern that comes into a lot of NBA fans when they just see what happened with Markelle. But what do I think? Do I think this could potentially be a big issue for Cade going forward, or do I think it's basically going to be fine for him? Well, obviously, I don't love to see when you change anybody's jump shot at this point in their career, unless their jump shot is completely broken and they're already known as a terrible shooter. Maybe you try to tinker with it and make them a decent jump shot shooter. But once you're at the point where you're seen as, at the very least, a decent shooter, I typically don't like to see them tinkering with your jump shot. Now, maybe you can point to a few guys in the past that it worked out and it really helped them out tremendously. There probably are a few case scenarios like that, but typically I don't like to see people tinkering with jump shots, especially this late in their careers. But with that being said, when you look at Cade's case specifically, they're not really changing much within his jump shot. They're just making his jump shot a little bit higher. So maybe that's not as bad and it won't really affect him as much as it otherwise maybe could. And maybe honestly it would help him going forward. Maybe with that higher jump shot he won't get it blocked as many times, or maybe he won't get as contested as many times and just be able to become a better shooter in the long run. Maybe that will happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, and I'm not saying tinkering with a jump shot can't help, but I just don't typically love to see it. But we'll see what happens going forward for Cade. Hopefully for his case, this tinker with his jump shot will actually help him going forward and it'll just become that much better of a shooter. But I'm definitely very excited to see what Cade could do in his rookie season and just in his career in general going forward. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think this tinker with Cade's jump shot could potentially help him, or do you think it could potentially hurt him going forward? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.